Framber Valdez for the Astros trying to get this series evened up as it heads back to Philadelphia for Game 3 on Monday. 28 years old out of the Dominican Republic is Framber Valdez. He just keeps on getting better. He's in his 5th season in the majors. Really just his 3rd one in the rotation, and the first one of those seasons was the short 2020 campaign. Last year was interrupted by injury, missed the first couple of months with a finger injury. First full year here, and in the postseason, John, he's made 2 starts. The Astros have won them both.
Well, they're going to need a great outing for him and the Astros to even this series. Look, we talked about the contrasting styles of pitching yesterday. Verlander, tall release point, top of the zone. Nola, lower release point, bottom of the zone, east and west. It's going to be the opposite again. You're going to want Valdez to be down in the zone, short strider, great spin on his breaking ball, and in one of the longest strides and longest points of release, Wheeler. So really kind of opposite styles if you're looking at home trying to figure out why they're successful. Valdez, great late sinking action and one of the best curveballs you're going to see.
Fired up for this pitching matchup, huh?
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at the lineup that Framber Valdez is going to face off with in Game 2. It's a little different at the bottom given the left-handed starter, but at the top, it's just how it's looked all postseason long. And all 5 of those guys at the top of the order scored a run for the Phils last night. The difference is Vierling in center and Sosa at short. It's been the case any time they faced a left-handed starter in this October run. Behind the plate tonight is Pat Holberg, 36 years old. He makes his World Series debut. He's got all his friends and family here from Iowa. So living his own dream as he gets to call balls and strikes here in Game 2. And he is, you're talking about the low strikes being key for Framber Valdez. He tends to lean that way, gives pitchers the bottom of the zone.
Well, that'll be key for Valdez, who pitches off the third base side of the rubber, straight line leg to home plate with really good action on his pitches. He can pitch up, but he'd rather pitch down and then use that curveball.
Won Game 2 of the championship series with a sterling performance against the Yankees. And off we go in Game 2 of the World Series. Strike 1 on Schwarber.
And what you're going to see out of Valdez is most pitchers fall off one side to the other. He lands, sticks the landing, and just right in the middle after he throws it, ready to field the pitch.
Inside here, 1 ball, 1 strike. And this Phillies offense found itself in a 5-0 hole while the national anthem was still echoing here through the stadium. And then they got 3 runs in the 4th. They got 2 runs in the 5th and completed the largest comeback in the World Series in 20 years. Schwarber starting Game 2. He's ahead 2 balls and 1 strike. The Phillies have now played in 4 series in this postseason. They've been the road underdog in all 4, and they've won Game 1 in all 4.
Yeah, that's a great start to returning home to home field advantage. You got to win at least 1 on the road, and they've done it every series.
3-1 on Schwarber. You know what the interesting thing is with this Phillies offense, John, is that, yeah, they've got these big boppers, and they're hitting home runs. They've got 16 in their last 8 games. But they're also hitting above 300 with runners in scoring position.
And that's been the biggest key. That's why you win games.
Schwarber with a hot shot up the middle. Well-positioned Pena for the first out of the 9th. Pena is part of this Astros defense. Different look in the outfield tonight. Aledmus Diaz draws the start in left field. Yordan Alvarez does the DHing. McCormick's in center and Tucker's in right. Bregman and Pena left side of the infield with Altuve and Gurriel on the right, and Martin Maldonado catching.
If Valdez is on his game, it won't be a boring day for the infield. Matter of fact, the infield will have a lot of action. The ball on the ground, nobody does it better with ground balls. The one key again, though, he doesn't throw a ton of strikes early, meaning if he goes strike 1, Phillies got their work cut out for him. But the first 2 out of 3 pitches, usually a low percentage of strikes. And that breaking ball, he doesn't throw as much for strikes as you would think, because he wants hitters to chase and expand the zone. He's not afraid to pitch behind an account, but it's usually not the recipe for success.
1-0 on Rhys Hoskins, and he faced these Phillies back in the final day of the regular season and struck out 10 over 5 innings. The curveball you're talking about, he's leaned down more and more in this postseason. Against the Yankees, he got 16 swings and misses on that pitch.
It's so late in breaking, you can't do it a justice at home. We're going to try and show you why. He has more tilt and vertical break in that pitch, along with a couple other curveball artists.
Foul.
And that would be Rich Hill, the left-hander, and Adam Wainwright, the right-hander. And there's the kind of stats that you need to know. That RPM or spin rate is pretty high, and you see the average. He just creates a lot of tilt to it and has a lot of late break.
Well, most international prospects sign when they're 16. Frommer didn't sign until he was 21 years old, and the thing that made the Astros get intrigued was that spin rate on that breaking ball. 2-2 on Hoskins.
And again, when it's right, it's starting in the strike zone and ending up outside the strike zone, meaning down, because that two-seam sinker is going to be in the bottom part of the strike zone to the hitter. Now, Hoskins, good low ball hitter. The Phillies have a couple good low ball hitters that would match up strength against strength against Valdez.
Hoskins, who went 1 for 5 in game 1. On a 2-2 from Valdez. It's curved, it's tap foul. Astros trying to get this series tied up 1-1.
And that's just 2 fingers and letting it rip out in front of him. The follow through is outstanding.
Roxon fires another 2-2. It takes off on him, and the count goes full. A couple longer at-bats to begin this game for the Phillies. Framber Valdez trying to write a new story in the World Series. He's done so many good things the last couple of years, but the big blemishes have come in the World Series. Got blown up in both his World Series starts last year. His 3-2 to Hoskins is inside, and the Phillies have their first base runner of the game. It's on a walk from Hoskins, and it brings up the game 1 hero, JT Realmuto. And we take a look at our player resumes, sponsored by Indeed. First extra innings home run in franchise history for the Phillies, and the first one by a catcher since Carlton Fisk kept it fair in 1975. He said, look, you know, we've been having a different hero just about every game. And he's had some good moments in the postseason. But he said, I figure, you know what? Maybe it's my turn to be that guy. My turn to be the hero. And he was, tying the game with the double in the 5th inning and winning it with a homer in the 10th. First one here is in there for a strike.
Well, they went the other way with that home run, and he had 17 opposite field home runs since last year, so very capable and a huge opposite field home run. Now, change-ups and pitches down, he'll have a lot of ground balls. Look for Valdez to try to induce that ground ball double play to get him out of the inning.
Good breaker right there for strike 2.
It just seems so easy coming out of his hands. See how he lands on that leg and keeps his drive leg almost up in the air. Tremendous balance and effortless. Looks effortless when he throws. There's the line he wants to be on. That line is basically for a pitcher's idea that he wants to land his foot on what would be the inside part of that line towards the plate, not towards third base, but towards first base. That's where he wants his foot to land. That's just a key for him and a lot of pitchers.
Hoskins at first, one gone. First inning. 0-2 pitch. 3 straight curves to Realmuto, who takes the first one. And it's 1-2. It's a pitch that Framber Valdez learned as a teenager in the Dominican Republic. Named it El Hacha, Spanish for the axe. Life-changing pitch for the 28-year-old, who fires 1-2, and a fastball is high. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And that's the thing with Valdez. I mean, for a guy who has been so good, only about 55% he throws his fastball for a strike. That's a lower percentage for a guy who relies on a lot of ground balls and a lot of action. Early on, getting some deep counts after he got 0-2 on JT.
Goes 2-2. Comes back home and strikes him out. Back to that curveball to finish off Realmuto for his first strikeout of the game.
Well, here's strength on strength right now from a strength point of this breaking ball that you saw him get JT. He'll throws a lot of breaking balls against left-handers, but guess who's pretty good at hitting breaking balls? Bryce Harper.
Shocker. He's just about good at hitting everything these days. 2 more hits in game 1 of this World Series, hitting .426 with 5 home runs in this postseason for the ages. Kind of hitter in the kind of zone that can carry a team, carry an underdog to an upset. 1 ball, no strikes. I mean, you mentioned him being a good curveball hitter, so you go hard, but he's hitting above 500 against hard stuff in the postseason. How in the world are you pitching this guy right now?
Well, this is more like strength on strength. Yesterday, Verlander had the advantage with the ability to throw the ball up in the zone and get swings and misses up in the zone. And once, you know, Justin lost that feel for up in the zone, the Phillies were able to come back and rally and score 5 runs against him.
The 1-0 pitch. Strike 1. Not too many times this postseason we've seen Harper take the first 2 pitches.
No, he's definitely looking for a certain part of the plate. You know, normally he gets aggressive. Maybe he's even looking for that curveball. And you can go up there and sit on a pitch when you know a high probability you're going to get it. At some point, Valdez is going to have to bust him in with that sinker to get him off the curveball, or at least allow the curveball to be a better weapon.
It is 1-1. It is a fastball, and it's grounded foul. 1-2.
I doubt he'll do it, but up and in is the hole. Up and in, left down left. If you leave it over the middle third of the plate, not good.
Hoskins off first as the 1-2 comes home from Valdez. He runs, and a fly ball to left center field. Aledmys Diaz is there, and that's a scoreless top of the first inning for Framber Valdez. Zach Wheeler takes the ball for the Phillies when you come back. Astros will look in game 2. Altuve, Pena, and Alvarez. Then Bregman, Tucker, and Gurriel, the same 1 through 6. Aledmys Diaz into the lineup for the first time in this World Series, starting in left. McCormick and Maldonado rounded out against Zach Wheeler. The biggest thing for these Astros, as we talked about off of the top, getting this guy going. Jose Altuve, who heads up there to face the best the Phillies have. John, he was the Cy Young runner-up last year. Great again this season. And in 4 starts in this postseason, he's got a 1.78 ERA.
Yeah, he's been awesome, and he's been awesome with his fastball. Both pitchers like to pitch inside, but a different type of style of fastball. It's going to get on the hitter quickly, whereas we talked about Valdez is going to have more movement. There's one thing that Altuve's got to do is change the scouting report that he has given the Astros and their recipe of getting him out. And it could start right here with the first pitch fastball if he gets it up in the zone.
First one from Wheeler is a fastball, and it's banged into left. He got a fastball up and took advantage. On his way to second to start this game with a double. Jose Altuve, a sight for sore eyes for Houston fans. There you go, John.
Well, that's how you do it, and you change that narrative right away. You game plan it for the first at bat, and you hope you get the pitch, and you can't miss it, and he didn't. He'd been late getting the barrel of the bat to the ball. They've been working on it, and a fastball that you know you're going to get a high percentage of fastballs from Wheeler. That's how you change the narrative of what everybody's been asking you, what's wrong, and a good start again for Houston. Still a lot of work to do against a great pitcher in Wheeler.
So you've got a guy who's been struggling against fastballs, gets one and gets a double. Now you got a guy at the plate in Pena who has only hit fastballs.
Yeah, Wheeler doesn't like to go to his curveball early. He'll use his slider more, but he's going to challenge most of the hitters. And again, game planning against Wheeler, you know that it's tough to hit a fastball up But if Pena gets a fastball, look for see if he'll go to right field with the idea that I can reward a hit and move the runner over.
The rookie's hitting above 500 against hard stuff in this postseason. He got a breaking ball, and the Astros waste no time. 2 pitches into the game. 1-0 Houston. What a catch there by Segura as that ball gets by Sosa. Back-to-back doubles from Altuve and Pena, and it's 1-0 like that.
Well, you know what? The Astros have this internal kind of like, we're going to show up, even though they've had a lack of success at home in the World Series. And part of yesterday taught them one thing. You can't stop scoring runs against this Philadelphia Phillies team. And they came out with a little bit of a let's get on top of the fastball quick, or first pitch quick. 2 pitches, 1-0.
Man, what a response for these Astros. And now it's Alvarez, so they get Altuve going. Can they get the same from their big left-handed slugger? He swings away as well and fouls it off.
Well, the Astros is well documented. We talked about they don't strike out a whole lot. Well, the Phillies struck them out, what, 11 times yesterday? They did a good job getting deep in the count and exposing them a little bit with 2 strikes. Now they've shown a little different of a kind of scouting report, being aggressive early against a fastball pitcher.
In the air the other way, Schwarber goes back onto the track. He's at the wall and it's off it. The Astros all over things right away. How about 3 straight doubles and a 2-0 lead?
Well, early on, that one might have been a cutter at 93. It didn't have the late life. And even though he didn't pull it, remember we talked about that left field wall? Both left field walls, I think, are going to come in huge in the parks that they're going to play in, both at Citizen and here. And certainly, again, the Astros can't ask for a better start.
Bregman swings and misses. I mean, this is crazy. Jack Wheeler had given up a 118 average against over his first 4 games in the postseason. And 4 pitches into the game, he's down 2-0.
Yeah, they're 5 for 5 on pitches and swings.
He wanted to. Alex Bregman has reached in all 8 games this postseason after going 1 for 4 with a double last night. Here's that left field wall with a double late. Ground ball to short. Fernando Sosa. And finally, Wheeler gets the first out.
Well, you go in with a game plan no matter what kind of game you're pitching, and the World Series is the ultimate, right? You don't abort it yet. But you have an idea of what you think someone's going to do, and then when they do something different, you may have to change up and read what's going on. And in the first inning, it's a pretty easy tell. They're going to be aggressive. So if Wheeler makes good pitches early, it's going to be a lot of quick outs. Even though there's been a lot of quick runs, you don't abort your style yet.
And the Phillies once again getting punched in the face right after the opening bell. Here's Kyle Tucker. Gave a couple of those early punches yesterday with 2 home runs over the first 3 innings. He had the Astros out to a 5-0 lead. He takes ball 1.
We're seeing a little more cutters out of Wheeler in the first pitches than the fastball that he likes to let it eat, because he knows that Tucker likes where he likes the ball, and he's trying to jam him a little bit.
Alvarez at third or at second with a 3rd consecutive double for Houston. This is popped in foul ground. That'll become a souvenir. We go down to Tom Verducci.
Yeah, Jose Altuve, you've been working hard about being on time on the fastball. Tell me about the approach in that swing.
You know, I was just trying to get my pitch, and you know, like you said, be on time. That's what I'm working on the last few days, and basically get a good pitch to hit and try to hit it hard.
Do you feel like that one swing gets you back to where you want to be?
You know, it's always good to get one swing in the ball and, get the boys going. And, yes, hopefully I can go from there and keep getting the ball like that, keep hitting the ball like that.
Thanks so much, Jose.
Thank you.
All right, Tom, thanks to Altuve for taking a moment for us. 2 balls, 1 strike on Tucker. The Astros certainly hope that's the one that unlocks things for Altuve. Altuve and Alvarez both doubles in this first inning.
Tucker, high swing percentage on fastballs, and so he's seen some cutters. Hasn't seen that true fastball yet out of Wheeler.
On 2-1, he does, but it's high. All these postseason games the Astros have played in, all the World Series games, it's their 4th trip in 6 years. Last night was the first night they had somebody hit 2 home runs in 1 game. And it was Dusty Baker's right fielder Kyle Tucker. More and more getting a reputation as one of the best guys in the league. On this 3-1 pitch, in the air to center field for Matt Vierling. 2 out. Valdez trying to take third. Vierling's throw gets by Bohm, but Wheeler backs it up.
Well, if you went to the refrigerator to get a drink, this is what you missed. You missed action right away. First pitch of the game, action double. Second pitch of the game, action double. And third pitch of the game, action double, or 4th pitch of the game. So it was quick action by the Astros. And there you go.
How about that? How about these first 2 games? A memorable first game. And a memorable start to game 2. Runner at third, 2 out. Yuli Gurriel at the plate. And he takes strike 1. Gurriel, who had a rough regular season, has been their best hitter in this postseason. He had 2 more hits last night. He's at .382 in the postseason. Bounce to Sosa. Calmly plays it. Low throw, and Hoskins can't grab it. Phillies defense costs him a run. 3-0 Houston.
Never assume anything, and Gurriel did not assume that this was an easy play. He ran all the way through, and as the throw comes in, it kind of short hops and gets the heel. And that glove ends up being too far down to be able to get that short hop, and he runs the whole time, puts his head down, never know, and he got rewarded.
Well, big things early in the 3 straight doubles, but then little things leading to the next run. With Alvarez taking third on that fly ball, he wouldn't have scored if not for that. And of course, wouldn't have scored without the error charged to Sosa.
Yeah, it was a risky tag up, by the way, but it rewarded him for this play to happen. And I think caught the center fielder a little flat-footed, maybe thinking he's not going for me.
Fromber, whose legs they've had to maintain, make sure that he's healthy. Those knee issues throughout his career. Aledmus Diaz takes ball 1. That's the reason Diaz is in left field today as opposed to DHing. And there they still try to get Alvarez DH days.
Diaz stays on the slider pretty good. With fastball up, he's going to swing at it a lot. And they tried to go inside. I told you, both starting pitchers love to pitch inside with their fastball.
Wheeler's 1-0. Outside for ball 2. What an adventure of an at-bat Aledmus Diaz had last night. He almost got hit on a 2-0. Then he does get hit on the next pitch, but they rule that he leaned into it, so they bring him back. He's got a 3-0 count. Chases one that was way low before grounding out to end the game. On this 2-0 pitch from Zach Wheeler, he takes a strike. for Zach Wheeler. Dominance in this postseason. Dominance really back to after he took a month off near the end of the regular season to rest his arm. 134 ERA in 7 starts since getting that month off. This is the first real blemish. Here's his 2-1. Poked foul, 2-2.
Just haven't seen. I mean, again, the game plan he has shown me so far, cutter slider's been a lot more usage than his fastball. There we saw one 97 miles an hour. We talked about his uptick in velocity since he got into this postseason. He's thrown 8 of those sliders early in this first inning.
Gets him swinging and ends this first inning. But the Astros jump all over Zach Wheeler. 3 consecutive doubles on the first 4 pitches. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Progressive's Keys to Progress program, celebrating 10 years of gifting cars to vets, and by Capital One. What's in your wallet? 3-0 Astros. The Phillies find themselves in another early hole. Jose Altuve jumps on the first. They got him right where they want.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, look, I mean, Valdez knows the storyline, and he wants to get the lead off. See, in this moment, get the leadoff guy out. Don't worry about the rest. Just keep doing it one at a time, because the Phillies strike back about as good as I've ever seen in the postseason to kind of get them back in the moment. Strength on strength, low ball hitter, sinker ball pitcher.
Nick Castellanos takes strike 1, and the hero last night was Real Muto, but as big of a deal as what he did is the fact they got 3 runs knocked in from these 2 guys, Castellanos and Bohm. Castellanos added the great defensive play to get the game into extra innings. Valdez got a call there that if he gets that, it's going to be a long night for
that was the changeup. We haven't seen many of them. He'll work that pitch in, and now he can spin a breaking ball off of that height of that pitch, because now remember, that's what the hitter recognizes, the last pitch height wise. He got that one a little too far up in the zone.
They've shown him a little bit of everything through 3 pitches. Now Justin Verlander still looking for that first World Series win after he gave up the 5 runs yesterday. He gave up 5. Nola gave up 5. The bullpens combined to give up just 1 over 10 2/3. A strikeout to open the second for Valdez. Well, you're talking about it. He knows what these Phillies do. The fighting Phils living up to that moniker. First game of the postseason against St. Louis. They trailed 2-0 going into the 9th inning and scored 6 runs to come back and win that game. They trailed 4-0 in Game 4 of the National League Championship Series and came back to win there. Did it in Game 1 of the World Series. Well, this in their postseason history, they've come from down 4 to win twice. They've done it twice in the last 3 games now. Bohm takes the ball.
Here's another interesting matchup when you look at certain strengths. Bohm pretty good on breaking balls. And you see the fastball start early by Valdez. But here's the thing the postseason does that's totally different than the regular season. If you're sitting at home going, wow, what's the big difference? You don't pitch to pitch, and you don't grind on every pitch just because the fans don't grind on every pitch in the regular season. That's what you have to do here. No matter what the score is, this has to be the longest mentally draining game you will pitch, because the attention to detail is that much more important. Stop every rally, get the first guy out. If the next guy gets on, you got a double play possibility. Because I've said it over and over again, a guy on first, down 3-0 is a rally. It is not a rally in the regular season. And all the things that go through your mind in the postseason, because you know this is the end, magnifies itself. So if you speed up your brain and your mind, you're more apt to make more mistakes than if you can slow down your brain and slow down the moment and make pitch after pitch after pitch.
Here's 2-1 pitch. Bohm shoots it down the line. It feels foul. They say that's one of the big areas where Framber Valdez has gotten so much better. Recovering from that 1 base runner, recovering from an inning that might start to look like a big inning, quickly moving on from it because it used to snowball.
Yeah, he would lose the strike zone too, and it would kind of compound itself. They said Maldonado really has helped calm him down so that he pitches in the moment and doesn't get outside of himself.
Full count on Bohm. Started working with one of the Astros sports psychologists, Andy Nunez, and Andy helped him find ways to control what he can control. Another thing is his manager, Dusty Baker, from the time he met him, told him, I believe in you. You're going to be a big-time pitcher. And he says when your manager's telling you that, when your manager's Dusty Baker, you start to believe it yourself. That's a walk to Bohm, second one that he's issued. For more on the left-hander, we go down to Kenny.
Well, Joe, Framber Valdez became a big-time this year pitcher. He ran off a record 25 consecutive quality starts from late April to late September. Major league record. Now, the Astros wear T-shirts commemorating that accomplishment. On the front of the shirt, it says Framber's 2022 Quality Start Tour. On the back, it lists his 25 starts the way musicians list their concerts on tour merchandise. This was the North American tour, guys.
Incredible consistency here in his 5th major league season. That is a strike on Gene Segura.
See, that's a bad walk. And the reason that's a bad walk, when the team had just got you 3 runs, you don't care if that guy got a double, a single, or even a home run. It's the action that you're not giving them. Like you're walking into a rally. Those are the things you have to avoid when you get to this point of the season.
Swing and a miss on a high fastball. That is trying to keep it from spiraling on him, unlike in the World Series last year where he gave up 5 runs in both starts, failed to make it through 3 innings in either.
Yeah, and that's what can happen. I mean, it can snowball quickly because these teams that are here for a reason, and they're riding streaks and hot players that, you know, feel the momentum. And Philadelphia has been a momentum team, to say the least.
John, Gene Segura got off to a good start this postseason, but it feels like he's found himself in these 0-2 counts as he steps into the box lately.
Yeah, getting a little deep, but he's a guy that can grind out 2 strikes, but getting deep too often is probably putting him in a little bit of a funk, as you mentioned.
He is now 2 for his last 23 as he watches that curve sneak to the back door.
Clean innings are so important in the postseason. We haven't seen a ton of them. We did see 9 in a row by Justin Verlander yesterday, and again we talked about the 5-0 lead, but clean innings are huge. They're stress relievers, and when you get pressure on a pitcher and you put pressure on a pitcher, the offense can make it. That's when you're looking for that crooked number, right? That one swing or that big inning.
Matt Vierling hooks one down the line foul. Just one more note on Justin Verlander, what happened yesterday. In his career, when they'd gotten him a 5-run lead, he was 101-0.
Did you say 101-0?
Oh, like 0, like it never lost once the team had gotten him a 5-run lead.
Well, that streak continued. Unfortunately, the team didn't benefit with the win because he didn't lose.
Didn't get the losing decision. Right. Here's bouncing ball up the middle. Second baseman Altuve to the bag. And that ends the top of the second. Jose Altuve, spot's already coming back around after the Astros brought 7 to the plate. Pitches into the game. You're in a hole and try to settle in now.
Yeah, and you just got to stick to your game plan that's made you special. And Wheeler's got to do that with the fastball. He's throwing a lot of sliders again early on. And typically we see a lot of fastballs, and I don't know if that's a lack of confidence in his fastball or just the game plan he's come up with against the Astros.
He only threw 3 four-seam fastballs in that first inning. It was more sinker. And typically, fastballs accounted for about half of his mix in this postseason, and not thrown quite as hard so far tonight as his first starts in the postseason. Chas McCormick starting the second for the Astros on this 1-1 pitch. Fouls it off, and it's 1-2.
Well, that's where you got to pitch Chas McCormick. He wants the ball out over the plate so he can drive it. Getting the ball in takes away some of his weapons.
2 home runs in the championship series. For the 27-year-old in his second big league year. On this 1-2 pitch, McCormick takes the ball. 2-2.
Perfect world. He wants a fastball down. He has a big hole inside where he'll swing and miss. And that's where Wheeler was trying to go when he jammed him.
2-2. Takes cutter away, and it's 3-2. McCormick, Maldonado, and Altuve in the second inning for the Astros. Zach Wheeler's payoff. Coming off the clinching game of the championship series on Sunday. 2 runs over 6 innings. Struck out 8, didn't walk anybody. He's now got 26 Ks and only 3 walks in this postseason. We'll be looking at one or the other here with a 3-2 count. Here he comes. McCormick watches ball 4 and has the leadoff walk. Up comes Maldonado, and we go down to Tom Verducci.
Yeah, Martin Maldonado is using a different bat today here in Game 2. He found out from MLB today that the bat he used last night was not a legal bat. It was a model that he obtained from Albert Pujols. And he used it because he thought it was very similar in size and weight to his own model. The barrel, he said, was slightly bigger. And he also thought it was a way to honor the baseball legend, of course, retiring with the close of this season. But here's the catch to it, guys. In 2010, Major League Baseball changed the bat specifications. And that bat, that Pujols model bat, was no longer legal, except if you were playing prior to 2010, it was grandfathered in. So Albert Pujols could use that bat, but Maldonado, who began his Major League career in 2011, was not legally able to use that bat. So he has gone back, I think he told me before the game, to his own model.
He's saying, come on, I'm finally getting it going. Using the Hall of Famer's bat. He's reached in 5 games in a row. You're going to make me switch back. With that new bat, he's in an 0-2 hole. Anything they get from him offensively, gravy on top of what he does handling the pitching staff and catching games. Drove in a run last night. On base in 5 in a row out of that 9 spot. Astros put the leadoff man on both innings against Wheeler. Back to what you're talking about. Just a base runner in the regular season. Feels like a rally this time of year. 0-2 pitch. Chases for the first out. Must be the bat.
Yeah, anytime, though, you can make a pitch like that, you're now 1 pitch away from, again, a double play. And you know the guy coming to the plate wants to hit. And he's hit some hard ground balls. I just think it would be hard for me to think Wheeler's going to throw another first pitch fastball.
Yeah. That's what Altuve pounced on to open this game with a double down the left field line. And he came in to score 1 pitch later when Jeremy Pena had a double of his own. Altuve got a first pitch fastball and hit it way up there near the rafters. Segura calling loud and making the catch.
I'll tell you what, he went right after him, and Altuve just missed it.
So 2 gone in the second inning.
Pitch was on the middle part of the plate, and that's when Altuve is right. He does not miss that pitch. That's a damage type pitch that Altuve, don't misjudge his size, can hit the ball out of the ballpark with the best of them.
But Jeremy Pena had his double on a breaking pitch. He's done pretty much all his damage this postseason on fastballs. So you understand why that's what Wheeler threw him first pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. On 1-0, Pena to short and Sosa. And Zach Wheeler settles in with a scoreless second. Edmundo Sosa to the plate for the Phillies, down 3-0 as they bring 9-1 and 2 to the plate against Valdez.
A little bit of a longer swing, but pretty good on the curveballs, which you would think is the strength of Valdez, but sliders give him an issue. So the tighter breaking ball, a harder pitch for Sosa than the actual curveball.
Limited time this postseason. They've only seen a few lefties, but he's been good. 2 for 4 with a walk. He's knocked in 2. Got a slow breaking pitch there and took it for ball 1. They got Sosa from the Cardinals at the trade deadline. One of several moves without really bringing in any big pieces, but that address some areas where they needed to help the depth. You think about him, you think about Brandon Marsh, who's kind of steadied things defensively in center. Noah Syndergaard's been an important piece of the pitching staff. David Robertson the same. All the handiwork of Dave Dombrowski, who's got his 4th different organization in the World Series. Nobody had ever taken a team with 3 different franchises to the World Series. He's taken 4. The Marlins, the Tigers, the Red Sox, and now the Phillies in just his 2nd year running baseball operations.
Well, again, no one's surprised that Houston's here based on the year that they had, but Philly's just been a great story, and they're riding the momentum of this team and their manager and just the whole confidence that they have kind of grown together late in the year.
2-2.
And there's no way to measure that. Like, we can measure a lot of things in sports. We can measure statistically and analytically, but what's going on inside a clubhouse, only the manager, coaches, and the players know. And when you have something special in that degree, it's can't measure it.
You saw the owner, John Middleton, who said Dave Dombrowski was his guy. Dombrowski was in Nashville, heading a group that was trying to lure an expansion team to Nashville, thinking that he was done as GM. Wasn't going to, he'd done that for decades, and that was behind him. But John Middleton talked him into returning to that role. And he said he thinks about how much he loves Dave Dombrowski every day. Another 2-2 and another foul. These Phillies that had the longest postseason drought in the National League coming into the season, and it looked like that was going to continue because they were 22 and 29. Joe Girardi was fired. The question wasn't, is this going to help them win this year? It was, okay, what do they do this offseason to figure out the long-term solution at manager? Nobody really saw this coming. Sosa's down on strikes, 1 gone in the 3rd. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Indeed. We help people get jobs. And by Verizon, the network America relies on. Back to the top, Kyle Schwarber. Swings and misses.
There's that tighter slider, and then you'll see the bigger breaker with that curveball. He is tough on lefties, as you can imagine.
Maybe a tough matchup for Schwarber here, who is 1 for 12 against curveballs in this postseason.
Yeah, I am sure he wants to hit a fastball up in the zone, and a fastball, it doesn't matter where, he can hit it all parts of the park.
Let's see if he gives him one. Another breaker. Fastball is hit foul. They gave him a fastball, but in an impossible place to hit.
97.
Right? When you got all the movement he's got, all the different options, and he's popping 97.
That's the part that just doesn't make sense. He doesn't look like he's throwing 97, and that's what makes him so tough. And there's that movement.
On 1-2, he goes back to the soft stuff. Fromber had given up hope he'd ever sign a pro contract, let alone pitch in the World Series. From a tiny town in the Dominican Republic, so it didn't attract much attention. Once he finally does get in front of scouts, concerns about perceived arm health, maybe some injury issues coming. Fromber turns 21 years old and still no contract. But just when he starts to lose hope, his phone rings, and it's the Astros. They want to give him a look before they leave town, really a last-minute tryout. All right, maybe there is hope. Full count on Schwarber. And so they meet him at the closest field. There's no lights at this field, and the sun's gone down, and so the scouts have to pull up their truck. A bunch of motorcycles in the area pull up. They all point their headlights on the mound so the scouts can get a look at this 21-year-old that nobody's had any interest in. Snaps off a few curveballs, and they say, okay, we've seen plenty. That's hooked down the right field line, and Kyle Schwarber deposits one into the corner. Hangs on with a long single. Nice work in right field by Tucker getting to that ball. And the Astros said, come to our facility the next day. We're going to give you more formal workout. Days later, he'd signed a contract that looked like it was going to be impossible for him to ever get. And a few years after that, a Major League All-Star and pitching in the World Series.
Well, he took an 0-2 count and had Schwarber right where he wanted him, and it got to 3-2, and Schwarber fought off a fastball inside for a base hit. Those are the kind of at-bats. Again, you never know how that affects the team who's trailing when they can get runners on base. When they were 0-2, that's got to turn into an out.
Hoskins, strike one.
And he just didn't make a pitch at 0-2. He spiked a lot of those pitches, and against a team like Philadelphia, you give them a hope, they're going to cash in.
You saw last night, opportunistic. Hoskins was the first guy to get aboard against Verlander. That didn't happen until the fourth. And then Harper gets a base hit, but Hoskins doesn't score. Looks like they're going to come away empty-handed. Castellanos goes down and gets that breaking ball off of the dirt to start the scoring, and it would continue.
Once again, 0-2.
Valdez trying to finish him off, and does with a breaking ball. Strikeout number 5 for Framber Valdez.
Well, we went back to the breaking ball. The slider he was using against left-hander Schwarber. And that's a big out. That thing is in the strike zone a long time and then disappears down.
Two gone, third inning, and JT Realmuto to the plate. Heavy dose of curves his first time, struck out. Bounce to third. Bregman. 3 scoreless for Framber Valdez, trying to get this series evened up at a game apiece. By Liberty Mutual Insurance, only pay for what you need. Enjoy the thrill of the World Series presented by Capital One with the MLB app. Get daily lineups, live pitch-by-pitch coverage, and more in our free app with over 150,000 reviews. Download the MLB app today. Well, the Astros have gotten both their big guys going tonight. Altuve and Alvarez with doubles in the first inning. And Alvarez to start this third. Zach Wheeler turns and throws and gets strike one.
See if Zach Wheeler goes back to that fastball usage that we were used to seeing. First time around, a lot of sliders.
32-year-old out of Smyrna, Georgia, home with an 0-1 pitch. It's a little bit high. It's a classic power pitcher that really was first few starts in the postseason doubling down on that. Here it is, trying to hit it. A little more flavor to it tonight. Inside there, ball 2. It's in his 8th major league season, 3rd one with the Phillies. And what An investment he's proven to be. His 2-1 pitch. He's high and away, ball 3.
Well, he's been a little bit off with that four-seam fastball, and just the way that he gets downhill to throw it explodes that strike zone. He can pitch in the strike zone and not give up much damage at all. That's the luxury of Wheeler when he's got that pitch humming.
Here he comes. Alvarez takes ball 4. Second walk of the game issued. Second leadoff walk issued by Wheeler. And here's all the offerings coming out of that same tunnel. So hard on hitters.
Yeah, lower 3/4, but he's getting downhill at 7.2 feet from the rubber. And when you're trying to decipher between the two, watch how it comes out. And you're going to see these 3 pitches are going to do 3 different things. Curveball straight down, slider to the left, inside to a lefty, and a fastball explodes away. So he can cover every quadrant, and he's got everything it takes to silence a great offense because of his ability to throw strikes with his fastball. He doesn't have to throw. When you throw a high percentage strikes with your fastball, you don't have to have a high percentage strike with your breaking ball.
Good fastball hitter here in Alex Bregman, who grounded out to short his first time. 3-0, bottom 3 of game 2. That is inside. Check the first. He went around. Bregman didn't think so. Crowd didn't think so. What do you think?
Yep. Hardest call to make by umpires.
Grayest of gray areas. The 0-1 pitch. Way outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
See, the unique thing about Alex Bregman, he owns the inner third part of the plate. Owns it. Rarely makes outs on that pitch, but you have to pitch him in once or twice to get him conscious of it, because he doesn't expand the zone away. So if you're not going in, then the away pitch outer third becomes a very enjoyable part of the plate that he can own if the hitter or the pitcher doesn't take away some portion of the plate. Right now the command is just a little bit off with that slider. He has not been able to dot the outside part of the plate with that pitch.
Here's his 2-1. There's back out there. Fastball right where he wants it.
And that's a rare swing and miss, believe it or not, for Alex Bregman. He doesn't do that very often in the strike zone. So that just tells you the kind of stuff that Wheeler has potentially to give hitters all the fits in the world.
Leadoff walk to Alvarez. He's at first. 2-2 on Alex Bregman. Wheeler fires. And another fastball inside. Count goes full. Alex Bregman, who MVP runner-up in 2019, and 2 years of dealing with injuries diminished him. Wasn't the same hitter. Wasn't the same hitter really over the first half this year, but the last 3 months he's looked like the old Alex Bregman again. On a payoff pitch from Zach Wheeler, Bregman hits into short. Runner was moving. They get the out at second still in turn 2. 6-4-3. That ball had to be smoked for them to still get the double play, because Jordan Alvarez is running with a pitch. It was, and they did.
Yeah, well, you know that Bregman's not going to swing and miss too often, so you can send the runner, and he gets a nice jump, but this ball's hit way too hard. And because of the slide rule and the way that you have to go into second base, it's a lot easier for the second baseman to just hang in there and make a throw, knowing you're not going to get blown up.
Yeah, in the old days, that would have been a particularly frightening one, with that big man coming down there.
He'd have been coming across the base trying to make a throw from almost halfway to third base.
Yeah. The base is empty. This is how you want to face Tucker right now. 1 ball, no strikes. You were saying it going into the game yesterday. Kyle Tucker's the guy. Even though he had a rough first couple weeks of the postseason, he's the scariest guy.
Yeah, in this lineup, because of how it's set up. You know, the bottom lineup, 7, 8, 9, it's hard to have 9 guys be weapons.
Towering drive to center, but he just got under it. Veerman waits on his countdown and finishes off the last of the third. Into the middle innings we go in Houston. Heart of the order for the Phillies. That means Bryce Harper to lead off when you come back. This is presented by Capital One. Phillies took the first game 6-5. The Astros lead game 2 3-0 as we go to the fourth. Joe Davis, John Smoltz, Tom Verducci, Ken Rosenthal, and it's Bryce Harper to lead off this inning against Framber Valdez. Slide to left his first time. And checks his swing for ball one here. Now I say went around, and it's strike one.
Well, this is where it started for the Phillies yesterday. After 9 up, 9 down, they got some runs in the fourth inning and then followed it up with some runs in the fifth inning.
All postseason long, they've taken those big early blows only to steady themselves and punch back. Framber Valdez trying to say not on my watch. Lefty has Harper in an 0-2 hole.
Well, he's been much better with first pitch strikes. That was going to be the key for him. And 4 of those 5 strikeouts came on the curveball, but 5 of 8 swinging and missing on the curveball. See, that's the key. When you can get ahead in the count, then your ability to spin that breaking ball becomes even more of a weapon. But if you're behind in the count, it's just a lot of pressure to have that pitch be hit for strikes all the time.
Another 0-2. He's the guy for you, John. He's never going to lead the leaderboards when it comes to throwing strikes, but he's got to throw just enough to make the whole picture work.
Absolutely, because you know that when the ball is in the middle of the zone and it's down, it looks like the hitter wants to attack it, but it always is going to end up below the zone. So if the patience of the other team shows up, and that's easier said than done, because when remember, no hitter wants to get beat on a fastball, so they're looking to attack a fastball, and his is, when it's right, it's off the barrel because of the movement that he has.
A little cat and mouse here. Harper calling time at the perfect moment a couple times in a row. Framber steadies himself, takes a deep breath, and delivers. Gets in. Big breaking ball from Framber Valdez. 6K.
You have no idea how much break this ball is if you're at home watching this pitch. But one of the best in the game and good at breaking balls. This pitch breaks so late, and it looks so good coming out of his hand. That is what makes this guy so nasty, and he's got one of the best curveballs in the game. And he is on display tonight.
So it gets Harper. Here's Castellanos, who chops one along third. That's a fair ball. That's a low throw. That's a pitch for out number 2. Yuli Gurriel on the back end of that low throw from Bregman. 2 gone in the fourth.
Defense for the Astros. Really good. That guy. Awesome. Gurriel tightens him up.
Gurriel, longtime third baseman himself, moved across the diamond because the Astros had Alex Bregman when he got here. Had coming up at least, and then Bregman arrived, and Gurriel went over to first base, where he's become a Gold Glover. 2 up, 2 down in this fourth inning. Alec Bohm walked his first time. Fouls off the first pitch. Hard of the plate with that fastball, but all he can do is send it foul. The Phillies, after they scored 6 runs in last night's game, nothing through 3+ on just 1 hit against Framber Valdez. Kicks and deals in 0-1. That's a little bit inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, he knows what the Phillies are capable of, and there you have it right there. Run scored in the first through third inning. No contest. But the rest of the game,
also no contest.
No contest.
Two and 1.
Love how he finishes on his front leg and just sits there and doesn't even let his push-off leg land sometimes mechanically trying to just really get down through that leg and let it take all the stress off of his arm.
Wow. Thing moves so much.
And this is just a classic delivery. It's not a power delivery, but it's powerful legs. When he gets to that point, watch it, just takes all of the weight. He hangs there, puts a foot down. No big thing.
Cool and calm. Framber Valdez looking for a 1-2-3 inning against the heart of the Phillies lineup. And he's got it with bookend strikeouts.
Have you seen my new phone yet? It like folds in half.
I would never switch to Samsung. I love my phone.
What? Folds in half.
You see, I love my phone. I would never switch to Samsung.
Record inflation. Groceries up 13%. Gas up 36%. And crime is out of control. But instead of helping us, Joe Biden sent $66 billion to Ukraine. Billions more on weapons. Instead of helping us. Now, Biden says his fight in Ukraine could lead to nuclear Armageddon. World War III. Hell no. Citizens for Sanity paid for this ad.
Beautiful day for basketball.
The NBA is BACK, meaning everyone everywhere is about to go OFF.
Time for another run.
No sleep till repeat.
We don't have too much time for a history lesson.
Yes, we do.
This is season
76.
Try 77.
Brand new year, same old hope.
It's our year.
Nah, this is our year. What's happening next is happening now. And this game isn't leaving anybody behind.
I'll remember that chapter of my life forever. We laughed. We cried. We protected that Progressive Home and Auto bundle day and night. We were, all of us, dazzling. Like knights sworn to protect our kingdom. We knew it wouldn't last forever, but that's what made it special.
You know we'll be back tomorrow, right?
Yeah, but it'll never be today again.
Just get on the bus, Lord.
Well, of the 26 home teams to go down in a series 2-0 in the postseason, only 3 have come back to win the series. So the Astros trying to avoid having to dig themselves out of that. Trying to get this series to Philadelphia for Game 3 on Monday, tied at a game apiece. Zach Wheeler misses with his first one to Yuli Gurriel. Well, the Astros got 3 runs in the first inning, 3 doubles on the first 4 pitches. And so if you were late getting the TV turned on or settled into your seat here, you've missed it all to this point. Bouncing ball to short, Edmundo Sosa to get Gurriel. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Chevrolet. Electric vehicles for everyone, everywhere. And John, Zach Wheeler's done a nice job after they jumped all over him in that first inning, settling in.
Well, Nola did the same thing after it was 5-0. You talk about a shock to your system. He did provide a couple innings of scoreless baseball, and then the bullpen did the rest. And Zach Wheeler knows what his team's capable of, and he was a little shocked in the first inning, settling down, trying to keep those zeros going.
Aledmys Diaz hacking him in. Zach Wheeler was the 6th overall pick for the San Francisco Giants back in 2009. And they traded him to the New York Mets. Debuted as the Mets' top prospect. In a few years of being pretty good, but often injured. And so it's really hard to know what you were getting as he went into free agency. The Phillies gave him a big contract, betting on their projections for what he could become, not what he had been, just because they figured there was so much more in there, being disguised by the injuries that he dealt with. Back to Sosa. Busy guy in his fourth inning. Strong throw there. 2 gone. Well, tomorrow on Fox, an NFL doubleheader starts with the Bears taking on Dak and the Cowboys, trying to build off their big win on Monday night, or other regional action. And then in America's Game of the Week, it's the 49ers and the Rams. Also seen Saquon and the Giants against the Seahawks. Check the local listings for the games in your area. 2 up, 2 down very quickly. Now Chaz McCormick, who's drawn one of the 2 walks for Houston. He bunts one on a line foul. Got all the tricks.
Well, Houston knows. I mean, they're in that dugout, I guarantee, saying we've got to chip away, chip away. Well, you're up 3-0. No, you chip away. You keep the offense going, because of yesterday was a wake-up call to this team. They hadn't lost a game.
Up the middle and through. 2-out base hit, Chaz McCormick.
And you know what? That at bat may not ever get noticed if nothing happens in this inning. But you know what it does? You hear this all the time. It resets the top of the lineup. Unless he gets thrown out stealing or something. Maldonado bats here in the 9th. I mean, in 9th position. And then if he gets a hit, the leadoff batter.
At the very least, though, you get that 9 spot out of the way.
Exactly right.
Get your big dogs coming up for the next inning. Maldonado struck out his first time. One of only 2. This Astros team, one of the hardest in baseball to strike out. Only 2 of them tonight against Wheeler. Leaping Bohm has it, using every bit of that 6'5" frame to take a base hit away from Maldonado.
Looking for more stats? Just ask Siri, who leads the MLB postseason in home runs.
Thank you, Siri. Harper and Hoskins, 2 guys still playing. Tied with the Yankees' Harrison Bader, who's about doubled his season total. And the postseason. Gene Segura to lead off the 5th for the Phillies. Bottom part of their order, trying to solve Framber Valdez, who has struck out 7, walked 2, given up just 1 hit through 4. On the inside corner, strike 1.
Well, he's thrown enough of those for strikes. His curveball, only 9 out of 24 for strikes. But guess what? The Phillies have chased 7 of them. So that adds to that illusion of 16 being for strikes.
That is past the diving first baseman and down the line. Leadoff base hit, Gene Segura. He's been struggling lately, but he triggers this 5th inning with a base hit by Gurriel.
Well, he didn't let it get deep this time, right? He'd been getting the 2 strikes a lot, and you see how they're playing him. And one of the most unique batting styles. Gets rewarded with another hit.
So man aboard for the 8-hitter, Matt Vierling, looking for his first impact on this postseason. He's 2 for 11 so far. Playing time hard to come by, just starting against lefties. They've not seen many. He's a rookie. Got it in the majors late last season. Hit really well. Hit well above 300. And a slow start this year, but got it going late. And earned his spot in this postseason roster. Former Notre Dame star. On a 1-0 from Valdez. Takes a strike.
Well, after getting that strike, he could throw a curveball, and it's really going to be an idea that he throw the curveball to get him to pull it on the left side of the ground, so that that left side of the infield gets a chance to turn a double play.
From Framber Valdez induces more grounders than anybody in baseball. It's really it's a unique combination, John, having that and also the strikeout breaking pitch.
Yeah, it's the best of two worlds when you have. It'd be one thing if he threw an 88-mile-an-hour sinker. It's like 95.
Devilish movement to it as well. And same thing with that curveball. It's 1-2.
But that's the pitch right there. If you're going to get somebody to hit a ball on the ground, this thing is so tight and late. It ends up in the lower third part of the strike zone. You see the hitter swinging over the top of it.
When you include the final game of the regular season against the Phillies, Framber Valdez riding his curveball. They're 0 for 11 against it. 11 strikeouts. The 1-2. Put in play for the first time, but he's got exactly what he wanted. A double play. Even with a speedy Veerling, they go 6-4-3.
I mean, this is the pitch that has made him so good at getting the ball on the ground. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Veerling made that play look. That was a rocket to short that should have been an easier double play, and he's flying down the baseline. Handcuffs Pena. Good turn. And a good feed. That little delay right there made it as close as it could be with Veerling trucking on down to first.
Yeah, the Phillies have had a little bit of traffic tonight, but they're 0 for 7 with men on base. 3-0 Houston here in game 2. And the 9-hitter Sosa takes ball 1.
See, the reason he had all those what's called quality starts is because his pitch count can get saved by plays like that. You know, he'd get in a little bit of trouble, but his ability to get quick outs on the ground is what keeps him in the game, and that helps your bullpen. We talked about the Astros and how well their starters did to save their bullpen because they pitched deep in the game.
Yeah, 201 innings this season for Framber Valdez to lead the American League, and you don't do that without being really efficient.
You say 201?
Yeah.
Just pushed it. So he led the league.
Yeah, no. Different.
With only 201 innings.
There were only 3 guys that got to 200. 2 of them on this staff. Verlander's one of them. 2-1 on Sosa. It's just different what starting pitchers are asked to do these days with the kinds of arms they have coming in behind them. Here's 2-1. He shot foul, and it's 2-2. We're on to the second pair of shoes.
I don't know if I could ever do that. I really don't. I'm not superstitious, but if a good thing's going,
right,
let the good thing go.
Yeah, let the good times roll. Good shoes roll.
It must not have felt comfortable. You put up a 0, you feel comfortable, and you don't care if they're sandals.
2-2 popped out of his hand, and the count goes full.
Well, again, big pitch. Make the hitter put it in play or get him to swing. You don't want that free pass with Schwarber in the top of the lineup coming up.
Edmundo Sosa took strike 3. His first time up. Phillies got a leadoff single. Valdez trying to face the minimum thanks to the double play ball. It's a curve and it's lofted foul. Through 4+, giving the Astros exactly what they needed after Justin Verlander's short outing yesterday. The pitching has been the biggest story for the Astros all year. Valdez back home 3-2. Strikes out Sosa. Framber Valdez, 5 scoreless innings. Halfway home in game 2. T-Mobile's donating $5,000 to Team Rubicon's hurricane recovery efforts. And when you text relief to 595959, T-Mobile will donate another $5. So far this postseason, that means over $400,000 in donations for hurricane relief. Well, first inning flurry from the Astros has them in front 3-0. Jose Altuve had a double on the first pitch of the game and set the tone for that 3-run frame against Zach Wheeler, who John needed 19 pitches in the first, but keeping himself and the team in the game by averaging just 11 pitches per inning since. That's a ground ball up the middle and through. And Jose Altuve, who had 4 hits all postseason coming in, has 2 tonight.
Well, we talked to Dusty Baker, and he said, look, there's not really much you can correct because he's one of those hitters that goes outside the zone, unorthodox, and when he gets hot, he gets hot. And he was hoping that he would get hot and get going and get that offense going, because he's not your prototypical discipline, stay in the strike zone. He's got unique style and unique ability to kind of search for hits, get hits, and hit for power.
Yeah, one of the best bad ball hitters in the sport. It's like you don't want to talk to him about chasing too much because that's part of who he is. And this is one of the best hitters of the generation. Trust him to figure it out. He's on to start the 5th. And now Jeremy Pena. One pitch after Altuve started the game with a double. Pena started the scoring with a double of his own.
And you just wonder how much of the yearly success and the numbers of the Astros with the 4-seam fastball has actually led to the game plan of Wheeler to throw his lowest percentage of 4-seam fastball so far in this game.
And that's in a Phillies uniform, the lowest usage of 4 seams in 3 years. He's only throwing it about 1 of every 5 pitches. Coming in the postseason, it was more than half of his usage. It's more sinker and slider heavy tonight. Neither one of those pitches were factoring in heavily over the last month. Just interesting when you see guys take a different plan based on who they're facing. He's typically not one of them. Typically it's, I know what I got, good luck hitting it. 0-1 pitch. Pena fouls it off.
Well, it could be a game plan or it could be a field issue with his mechanics and maybe even throwing a warm-up. You start saying, I don't know if that pitch is going to be my A pitch tonight, but it seems more of a game plan attack the way he was in the first inning. And certainly, again, a little shock to the system. 3 pitches in and 3 doubles. That'll test your mindset a little bit.
It's like a cold shower in the morning. Step in there. Whoop! Happens fast. Altuve off first as the 0-2 comes home. Pena chases as he is prone to do. Wheeler takes advantage of it and gets his 3rd strikeout.
Now he'll have to get better at that as he matures in the big leagues, because that will be the go-to for every pitcher in the league if he's not careful, because that pitch is nowhere close to the strike zone, right? So Pena has been hot, as we documented in the postseason, gotten his hits, but he's also swung and missed a lot at the breaking ball.
1-on-1 out here in the 5th. Yordan Alvarez has reached both times tonight. He too doubled in the first inning, and he's also walked. 6'5", 230 pounds. Hosing slugger. He watches one inside, ball 1. That's the thing with him, John. He's this big, bruising hitter, but he's also got as good a strike zone discipline as anyone.
It's hard to not see. I know everyone's got a comp or wanting a comp. It is so hard to not see a young David Ortiz in the way that the style that he hits and the great big poppy.
Bounces this one right side. Boom over there. The shift goes to second. 1 on to first, but late. Good pick by Hoskins, but Alvarez can run a little bit too. And aboard of the fielder's choice, 2 away.
So what do we have there? 5-4 or 5-6?
I like to use the @ sign, so go 5-4-6. What do you think?
All right, I like that.
All right. You can use it anytime you want until next year.
I just did.
It's illegal, so get it out of your system. 2 gone in this 5th inning, and Alex Bregman to the plate. Astros up 3-0. Dusty Baker is coming out here, talking with the first base umpire Trip Gibson. Any guesses?
Yes, they want to know where they're going to go to dinner tomorrow night in Philadelphia.
There's a lot of good options.
And they want to just be on the same page and make sure that the dinner reservation's made, and they're going to go over the dinner conversation right now.
See you in the corner table at Elpin Rose.
I heard steak on one of the guys.
Yep.
No, I have no idea. I have no idea what this could be about.
Said, hey, you think we can still get Eagles tickets for tomorrow? Hot ticket these days. Seems like a great time to get a word from Capital One. Or wait for it. Wait for it.
Houston is challenging the out call at second base.
Okay. Had nothing to do with stakes or football. Or Capital One for the moment.
I'm shocked. All right. Normally that's an automatic, right? They give you a little bit of leeway. But was his foot near the bag or touching the bag when he made the catch, right? I don't know. You don't see any dirt kick up. You don't see any bag move. They might win this.
This is something where the video room's watching closely. That phone will ring in the dugout. And they say, hold on. Stop the game. We might have something here.
And remember, this play used to be the neighborhood play where they always protected the infielder. But now that you can't slide into the infielder, you're going to have to touch the bag. It's no longer that granted kind of space that you assume has been made.
Video killed the neighborhood play.
Again, some of the views that we saw didn't look like that the bag. It has to be clear and obvious. And maybe there's a view we're not seeing, but he touches it there, but it looks like it's off the bag when he's got the ball in the glove.
I think it's going to stand. I'm just going to go out there and say that. Probably going to be wrong. Let's see.
After review, the call on the field stands. The runner's out. Houston will lose one of their challengers.
It's just so often when we're squinting our eyes trying to see it, putting it on our slowest setting, you got all these great looks, and it's like, yeah, maybe it's usually going to stand with a call on the field, and it does. And so 2 gone. And if you're Sosa, that'd be a really tough one to have overturned because it's making a perfectly fundamental play there. Went up to review and was upheld. And here's Bregman with 2 gone and a runner at first. Zach Wheeler comes home and Alex Bregman takes a ball.
Well, it was worth the review. It changes the dynamics of this inning with Bregman at the plate, first and second, 1 out.
It's the anniversary, 5-year anniversary of Alex Bregman's walk-off hit, a wild Game 5 in 2017. 13-12. Crazy thrill.
Is that where the Dodgers had the 5-0 lead?
That's the one where everything happened.
Wow. Yeah, I remember that game. Did it. Obviously don't remember it enough to be not asking you a question.
You've done a lot of them, my man. Here comes the 2-0 pitch from Zach Wheeler. Bregman hits one in the air to deep left center field. Back it goes. It is gone. Alex Bregman strikes again in the World Series. And the Astros again lead 5-0.
Yeah, new dad this year, right?
He's got that dad strength, man. Ever since he had his baby, it's been a different hitter. It's a ball on Tucker.
Yeah, he's got one of the greatest short, compact swings. Watch how quick he gets the bat to the ball. Doesn't have much movement, doesn't miss pitches when he's given the opportunity. I mean, this ballpark was made for Alex Bregman.
Tucker on 1-0, takes ball 2. August 1st, his wife Reagan gave birth to Knox Samuel Bregman. And taken off, the numbers line up almost exactly with that. It's obviously just a fun story, but really the big thing happened about a week before that. Bregman spent the All-Star break working on his swing and unlocked something mechanically, so he just kind of focused on staying closed, not flying open in his swing. At the time, he was hitting .238. Since then, he's hitting above 300 with the kind of power you just saw. And he's a dad, so you get an extra like 10 or 15 feet on your fly balls. Science. It's a 4-pitch walk after the homer.
Well, after a little bit of a delay, he goes back to this pitch right here and center cut slider. And that is how you square up a baseball. We talk about a slider being a great strikeout pitch, but it's one of the best home run producing pitches when it doesn't turn the corner and get to the right spot. Something to do with the spin and the angle of the bat that you hit the ball. Just they go a long ways.
Second game in a row, the Astros have had a 5-0 lead. 2 out for Yuli Gurriel. Strike 1. They try to make it 7-0. They've got these 5-0 leads against Nola and Wheeler.
Yeah, no, it's definitely what you would hope to be doing against 2 elite pitchers, and you don't think that would be 0-1 having done that. So today, a lot later in the game, they've had to lead.
Bouncing ball to third. Bohm all the way across the diamond. Hoskins goes over to get it and finish off the 5th. Alec Bohm's played some good defense in this series, but there's no defense for this. Alex Bregman with his 3rd home run of the postseason. And after 5 innings in game 2, the Astros again find themselves with a 5-run lead. All the ways you could save. And by Taco Bell. Steal a base, steal a taco is back. Alex Bregman's 2-run shot has the Astros leading 5-0 as this game goes to the 6th inning. And they found themselves at this lead before. They led 5-0 after 3 yesterday and lost 6-5. Today, Framber Valdez trying to put his foot down. Top of the order for the Phillies, and strike 1 on Kyle Schwarber.
He's done a good job mixing it up. He struggled early on, throwing too many 3-2 counts, or not throwing enough strikes with his fastball, but now he's throwing the cutter a little bit more. Second time through. We'll see what he does here. 3rd time through the lineup.
1 ball, 1 strike. We mentioned didn't get that pro contract till he was 21 years old, years after most guys sign theirs. He goes from anonymous prospect to intriguing thanks to that curveball. He debuts when he's 24. First 2 years back and forth between the majors and AAA, and he was getting rocked. So even once he got here, he looked far from anything like a sure thing. Moves into the rotation full-time in 2020, and it was in the postseason that year that he solidified his spot. Had a great postseason, really good last year, at his best this year. Doing it at a high level in the World Series for the first time now. His 1-2 to Kyle Schwarber is in the dirt.
That's the one he keeps spiking. You see the breakdown between the 2 pitchers so far. It's been all Valdez.
Zach Wheeler had given up 5 runs in his first 4 starts this postseason, and he's given up 5 in this one alone. 2-2. Just outside.
Great pitch right there. Oh, may not have come back like he thought.
(3-2) and a leadoff walk.
Oh, what an at-bat there by Schwarber.
On for the second time today.
The last time Hoskins was up, he saw 3 really good pitches, but unfortunately the result was not what he wanted. Fastball, curveball, and another curveball. 3 pitches, 3 strikes.
Phillies in 2 games against Valdez in this month of October have only put 1 curveball in play. And it was a double play. Hoskins, a walk in addition to that strikeout. Feathers a change in there at the knees. That's interesting, Johnny. You touched on this a little bit right off of the top, but conventional wisdom is road team wants to steal one of the 2 games and then feel great about going back home at 1-1. This might be a little different, just given the pitching matchups. There's a big drop-off for the Phillies after game 2. I know Ranger Suarez can be good, but on paper, the Astros pitching depth, if they can win one here tonight, they're feeling okay going into Philly.
Well, no doubt. They don't have anything other than conventional starters, whereas game 4, of course, for Philly is going to be more of a multiple-use pitchers.
That pierces the shift. Base hit Hoskins. First 2 aboard for the Phillies here in the 6th. Schwarber and Hoskins setting the table for the heart of the lineup.
And he waited there and got the pitch and, like you said, beat the shift. And really, Philadelphia needs to punch in here, as we talked about so many times before, when their ability to score and get back in the game has been unreal. And so right here is the best chance they're going to have to cut that deficit down with the meat of their order.
As promised a little bit ago, for sure this time. Quick word from Capital One.
Capital One is the official bank and credit card partner of Major League Baseball. What's in your wallet?
JT Realmuto is the guy that tied the game in the middle innings with a double last night. Won it in the 10th. Did it in front of more than 20 of his friends and family who had come down from Midwest City, Oklahoma to watch him play in the World Series for the first time. But a chance here to get the Phillies back to within striking distance. 2 on, nobody out here in the 6th. And he drives the first one foul.
That was a key pitch right there, getting strike 1 with first and second, nobody out. And of course, the bullpen's going to get going. But if you can beat JT on the first pitch, which he was trying to do some quick damage, now you can go to work and changing the spin and changing location. And again, he's always that pitch away from a ground ball double play. Although JT's not your average catcher running to first.
Hector Neris starts to warm. That's in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. First runner in scoring position against Valdez tonight. Base runners against him. 3 walks, 3 hits, but he scattered them. First time they've had multiple runners in 1 inning.
Well, we haven't seen many changeups, but that changeup is a great weapon as well against an aggressive right-handed hitter.
Here it comes on 1-1. Backdoor breaking ball is fouled off, and it's 1-2.
Again, the style of hitting has totally changed, right? And the reward system has changed. But if you're really trying to hit a breaking ball like that, it's almost impossible to think pull. It's right field, center field, and if the ball gets into the inner third, your natural approach will allow you to pull the baseball.
The 1-2, Realmuto spoils it.
But if you're going up there to pull, and you're thinking about it, then that's where the ground balls come to the left side. That's where you have the pitcher. Here's the last two pitches where he's fouled the ball, and they've been, watch where the height of it is when it's done. See how it starts out high and in the zone? That's the pitch he's got to hit. And if he doesn't hit that pitch right there is much tougher to hit.
If you do, probably going to be two. 2 on, nobody out. First threat for the Phillies tonight. Got him with a high fastball. Well, you got those big looping curves and then 15 miles per hour harder up there, letter high. Good luck.
Well, we showed you what it was like to hit against Wheeler. Let me show you what it's like to hit against Valdez. Here's what you get to see. Fastball, in his case, sinker coming out of the same slot as that curveball, so there's no deviation in the release point. But then guess what? Here we go, got it, fastball, and then boom, that thing disappears, and the sinker goes the opposite direction. So when he can change lanes like that with those two pitches, that's why he's so tough to hit, and that's why he gives up a lot of ground balls.
So the key at bat here, John. Bryce Harper to the plate, 0 for 2 tonight. Chops the first one to second. Altuve to second one. On to first. Double play. Best in the game at getting the ball hit on the ground, and he induces one against Bryce Harper. Framber Valdez here in game 2. 6 scoreless innings, trying to send the Astros back to Philly. Knotted up in this World Series.
Dad power. Your son Knox, 3 months old. He's seen, I think, every postseason game. But there's a little tradition you've got going when you step into the batter's box. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Kate has to hold him, actually, because it's good luck. But Reagan and him are upstairs tonight, so hopefully he was awake for that. But no, just happy to be playing a kid's game. This is so much fun, being able to play in the World Series. This is a blast. This is what we love doing, and we're just having fun.
It's Kate Upton, of course. Alex, what a difference for you in a year. What's the difference for you between last year's World Series and this one?
Just having a blast, honestly. This is a lot of fun. Feeling good. Just having fun, honestly.
Thanks so much, Alex.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
So Bregman's home run has the Astros up 5-0. And Andrew Bellotti, the new pitcher for the Phillies. Bottom part of the order for the Astros. And Aledmys Diaz, a little pop-up on the left side of the infield for Sosa. Earlier this evening, Boys and Girls Clubs of America, National Youth of the Year. How about that title? National Youth of the Year. This is Asha Haddix-Rossiter. Delivered the game ball. She also got to meet our pre- and post-game crew, Alex and Big Papi and Frank Thomas and Kevin Burkhardt. Major League Baseball and Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here. Congratulations to Asha. 5-0 game, bottom of the 6th. Bellotti to McCormick. And with a 5-0 deficit, there's a different chunk of that bullpen that Rob Thompson's going to go to.
Yeah, absolutely. And this guy's got a high ceiling, and we've seen him pitch, of course, quite a few games, and when that slider's turning the corner, he's tough. And if it's spinning and kind of backing up, well, that causes problems for the pitcher. Got to get it to turn the corner, and it's late when it does.
Dips to the knees there, 1-1. That is the pitch that intrigued the Phillies, led them to sign him. He debuted in the majors in 2015, did Andrew Bellotti, the Tampa Bay Rays, but then didn't pitch again until last year. And that was just 3 games with the Marlins. But the scouts liked that slider, signed him to a minor league contract, told him to throw the slider more. Here's his 1-1. Back to that pitch, but it misses badly. But the feeling on it seems like in this postseason is really coming and gone. And the fact that he's only given up 1 run, it's impressive because he hadn't had it for the most part.
Well, sometimes you can get away with the backup one in the right spot because the hitter's anticipating it to break, and it doesn't. It actually kind of jams them. But for the most part, you want to have the confidence that when you release that ball on the outer third of the plate, it's going to make that turn to get off the plate and get a swing and a miss.
Facing McCormick, who's reached both times in this game. Walking a single on 2-1. That's foul, and it's 2-2.
And again, not to keep harping on the situation, but the pitcher's front shoulder is so key to throwing pitches. And when he stays tight to home plate and doesn't get that shoulder going to the left towards first base, his slider has been good. When he leaks a little bit open with that front shoulder, the slider gets flat. It's every key for every pitcher is that front side. Same thing with a hitter. Front side stays in there. They got a chance to get the foot down and barrel it up.
2-2. Bounced up the middle. There's Segura, perfectly positioned. Good in the corner. So 2 gone in the 6th inning, and Chevy is supporting STEM programs by making a donation to First Book Marketplace in the local communities of all the Play Ball Players of the Month. Visit ChevyCares.com to learn all the ways Chevy supports youth baseball and softball. How much can you feel that in the moment? How much can you feel whether that shoulder's where it needs to be?
Well, you know, the goal of every pitcher, no matter if it's a reliever or starter, is to become your own pitching coach as fast as you can. You don't want to rely totally on the pitching coach reminding you of that, but it's just certain things that you can feel, and sometimes there's just days where you don't have it, and the release point's all kind of wonky, and you don't have your best stuff. But right now, it's the best slider we've seen him have. He looks comfortable, and he looks like he's been able to go downhill with it. And that's really the key for anybody playing sports. Under the gun, can you trust your mechanics? Do you have that down? And the guys that have the better mechanics, the game's easier for them because they can repeat it and do things under pressure that most guys might get out of themselves and get out of their mechanics.
Here's 0-1 to Maldonado, and it's another good one. No balls, 2 strikes.
And let's face it, sometimes the stress of the moment and the hitter and everybody gets you a little tighter. You grip it a little tighter. You try to throw it a little harder. And those are the moments where it flattens out.
It's facing the bottom part of the Astros lineup here that last night was solid, but tonight just 1 for 12.
Can't throw this pitch anywhere close to the strike zone here. Free swinging.
0-2.
Very good. And you can do it one more time. When you got a guy that's aggressive at the plate, just make him look like it's close enough and he'll expand the zone.
Now 1-2 pitch from Andrew Bellotti. And good work. Good call, John Smoltz. Break. You had that.
Did you know that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at my card monitor. There's nothing on that.
That's impressive, right?
That's my error, John. Framber Valdez. Quite a performance tonight. Trying to get the Astros evened up in this series. He's gotten a bunch of outs on the ground. He's got 9 Ks. And he has shut the Phillies out through 6 innings. That's a curveball that falls into the zone. A strike on Castellanos. A redemption for Valdez, given the 2 blow-ups in the World Series last year after what was a very good regular season, but 5 runs in both those starts. He says he got back to work much faster than he normally would after that, fueled by getting knocked around in the World Series. The cutter that he's added this year, said he was inspired by, he felt like he just was one option short facing the Braves lineup. And he's come back better than ever this year, way better than ever in the World Series this time.
Well, what the cutter does, just so you're sitting at home going, what's the difference of a cutter? Cutter is very important for guys who throw sinking fastballs, sinkers that move, because they're moving away from a right-hander, and then the cutter doesn't have to be great, but it holds its plane, and there you get a lot of jammed batters thinking the ball's going to move, and it doesn't, and breaks their bat, and weak hits.
Well, no.
If you've got a high velocity 4-seam fastball, I don't really think you need a cutter. You need more breaking ball that'll change lanes. So think about it as runways away from the plate and into the plate. And when a pitcher can cover both of those, the hitter really has a hard time kind of eliminating a pitch. So he's looking in 2 directions, trying to figure it out in a split second.
Rafael Montero's getting loose. Castellanos goes up and drags that curve foul. So you got the two-seam coming out straight, and then it goes arm side, and then the cutter, it's the same thing, but
goes the opposite way. Yeah, it's going to only move, you know, a variance of very little. Let's just say, you know, 2 inches. And that's all it has to do, because they're so used to seeing the ball go away from a right-hander that when they see it on that same plane, they go to attack where they think it's going to go. And that's why Greg Maddux was one of the best there ever was at being able to manipulate the strike zone with a two-seamer. And his cutter wasn't like one of the most, in today's world, the spin and all that wouldn't have jumped out at you like, wow, that's a great pitch. But it was a great pitch for him because it kept guys off of that leaning. As soon as they lean out over the plate and you see a cutter in, you can't cover that. The hitters are already beat.
Tell us about the time you got to see that as a hitter for the first time, right?
Yeah, well, he wasn't going to throw me a cutter, but it wasn't a lot of fun facing both him and Glavine.
You understood even more than
honestly.
Yeah.
No, you take for, you know, we pitched together forever, right? And for Glavine and I, 15 years. And I would laugh at hitters going up there thinking that they were going to do X, Y, Z and just ground the ball out and go back to the dugout disgusted. And I got to the plate and I said, I can hit him. He's pitcher speed. Well, he threw me a changeup, grounded into a double play, and I said, now I get it.
Yeah, that's right. 3-2. Castellanos swats one into left center field. That's a base hit to the gap. All the way to the wall. Nick Castellanos, as we saw him do last night against Justin Verlander, goes down, digs it out, and comes up with a base hit.
Well, I mentioned the strength on strength early on, and Valdez has had his way against Nick Castellanos, but he's a good low ball hitter. Look where that pitch is. See the barrel of the bat? That's why his fastballs yesterday were beaten into the barrel of the bat. Down, he goes and gets it, and he gets a double. But that swing right there, down in the zone, seems to be more comfortable right now for Nick Castellanos.
Who's got a hit in both games in this series. Philly's still looking for their first run. Framber Valdez at 102 pitches. You saw him squat down, take an extra moment before the last pitch, trying to dig deep to get through this. See how many more chances he gets. Now a quick word from Loan Depot.
I'm Jay, and this is my home. My first big purchase with help from Loan Depot. To find out what Loan Depot can do for you, call 844-752-LOAN or visit loandepot.com.
Alec Bohm to the plate. Castellanos and Bohm giving the Phillies something in these 2 games. We've kind of been able to count on the top of the order. These are 2 guys that you circled as key components to lengthen that Phil's lineup. And trying to get something going against Valdez. Took him a minute to settle in. 22 pitches in that first inning, but his usual efficient self. A lot of ground balls, a lot of quick outs since. Leadoff double, Castellanos. Bohm takes a ball in the dirt.
Well, it's a lot of confidence in your pitcher that, you know, in most cases with a pretty loaded bullpen, you'd be more apt to go get him right now. But that's trusting your pitcher. Don't know how many more at bats he'll get to face, but 5-run lead.
Now Montero ready to go. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Bohm up the middle. There's Pena. 1 gone. To third goes Castellanos. And here's Dusty Baker. Framber Valdez going to get a great show of appreciation from this sellout crowd. Just what Dusty ordered. Framber Valdez, 6 1/3. He's responsible, of course, for the man at third, but a stellar outing for him.
Did a great job mixing and matching. Now we got some power. 1, 2, 3 inning. Only 8 pitches yesterday for Montero.
That was the 8th, and you know the Astros lost that game, and the bullpen took the loss. But it's another good game for them. They had 5 pitchers combined to throw 6 innings, 5 innings, and give up just the 1 run. They've given up just 4 runs all postseason. All 4 of those runs have come on solo shots. There's been no rallies to get against this crew. Gene Segura on an 0-1. Golfs one to left. Sends Diaz back. Tiptoeing to the track. In the perfect spot. He's got it. It'll drive home Castellanos, and the Phils are on the board. A 5-1 game as Gene Segura gets a sacrifice fly. Well, a few feet to the left, and that might be in the Crawford boxes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I'm sure, what he was trying to do. And that's no small feat, getting that run right there, just to get him going a little bit within striking distance.
Boy, good luck against these guys. With runners on base, hitters are 1 for 33 against the Astros bullpen this postseason. Pitch hitter coming to the plate here. It's the postseason debut for Nick Maton, who was added to the roster for this World Series. And for this, that is to come off of the bench, pinch hit. Chances are he's not going to play defensively, so this would be a 2 players in 1 spot move where he'll pinch hit for Veerley. And then good chance you're going to see Brandon Marsh coming after that. Maton, a young player, he's in his 2nd season. He's done some good things, and even when he's not been playing, he's been an important part of the chemistry that this team raves about having. Ball of energy. Montero throws. Maton takes a strike. Kenny, you get a nice close look at that ball of energy.
Well, he spends a lot of the game barking at the opponent. A lot of the Phillies actually bark. But the story with Nick Maton is really interesting. He and his brother Phil could have been the first brothers to face each other in a World Series since Cleat and Ken Boyer in 1964. But what happened? Phil suffered a broken right pinky finger punching a locker after the Astros 3-2 win over the Phillies October 5th. In that game, Nick got a hit off Phil, so perhaps that explains why he was upset. I asked Nick about this, and he said, hey, man, it's him. It's his fault.
This is caught at third. A drawn-in Bregman ends this 7th inning. We stretch in Houston. The Phillies on the board and a sac fly from Gene Segura. Tonight, to this point, about that man, Framber Valdez. Again. Astros try to even this series at a game apiece. It's 5-1 to the bottom of the 7th, and we welcome you inside. Hope you're having a great weekend. Hope you're enjoying this World Series as much as we are so far. Joe Davis and John Smoltz. And the Astros trying to get this thing evened up as it goes back to Philadelphia for Game 3.
Well, they needed to counterpunch, and they did offensively right away. I mean, no, I've never seen a World Series game start that fast when they needed their offense to get going. And what can you say about Valdez? I mean, underrated, great left-handed pitcher that has delivered so far, keeping this Philly offense who's capable of having a big inning at bay. And this man, Altuve, got it started on the very first pitch of the game.
3 extra base hits to start the game. First World Series game ever where that's happened. They did it on 4 pitches. And now Connor Brogdon out of the Phillies bullpen. He's looked good as this postseason has rolled on. And there's Brandon Marsh, as we figured, into the game in center. Brogdon to Altuve with a strike on a changeup.
Yeah, lanky, over-the-top fastball that can rush up there. But the change of speeds in his changeup is what makes him so difficult. About 10 to 12 miles an hour, he can get the difference between that pitch. And you saw it first pitch to Altuve.
2 for 3 tonight. He came into this one 4 for 37 in the postseason. The Astros hoping that he's found something. That would mean big things for them as this series moves forward. Game 3 coming up on Monday. Good chance Ranger Suarez starts that game for the Phils. Good chance Lance McCullers does for the Astros. Good chance it's crazy in Philly. 0-2 pitch. Got the Eagles playing there tomorrow, trying to stay unbeaten, the only unbeaten team in the NFL. What a time it is to be a sports fan in Philadelphia. Eagles then come here and play the Texans next Thursday night. That's by Hoskins. Altuve with his third hit of the game, and the second one that he's gone out of the zone to get to.
I'm just telling you, this is what makes him unique. It can be frustrating. He can go into these funks, but he can also get a hit like this, and he's going to watch his own replay on the big screen. Foot down, but then look at that. Come on now, you can't do that. If you're a pitcher and you execute that and you give up a hit, you just shake your head. But that is what makes him so unique and one of the most electric players for his size doing what he does.
Story has been told many times now of how many times he's played on the big stage, but they told him to go away when he showed up to try out for the first time in Venezuela. They didn't believe that he was old enough to be there. So he came back the next day, he had his birth certificate. He says, I'm about to prove it with his birth certificate and with this swing. And he hops in the cage. A couple hours later, he had a contract. Fourth all-time multi-hit games in the postseason. It's his 30th one and his 89th game.
Something tells me he will tie Manny Ramirez this year. A few games to go.
Jeremy Pena shows bunt, takes the ball. He's also looking up at Manny Ramirez on the home run leaderboard postseason history. He's got 23. Manny had 29. Dusty Baker. Dusty get his ring. He's managed 5 franchises, taken them all to the postseason. He's won more than 2,000 games. He's won 3 pennants. All that's left for him in this baseball life, because he won a World Series as a player with the Dodgers in 1981. All that's left is to win it all in that chair.
Well, that chair has been extended a lot longer than most people would have thought when he came over here in a very tough situation. Did a great job, got extended, and look, keeps getting his team back.
He was the perfect man for the time. With what the Astros were going through in the wake of the cheating scandal, not too many guys could have come in and had the credibility that he came in with to steady the ship the way that he did. And not just steady the ship, but after a year of not being that good in 2020, he got him to the postseason still, to the championship series still, and then back-to-back trips to the World Series. Altuve takes off. He's out. JT Realmuto gets Altuve, maybe.
I'm going to tell you something. This tag must have been incredible by Segura, because the throw was high, and this had to be an incredible tag. Decent jump, but a great arm. It's high, and he put the tag right on the foot.
Hey, how much fun have these 3 guys been linking up on this play the last 2 nights? Realmuto, Segura, Altuve went to review last night and was upheld. Here's a 2-2 to Pena. He blasts one in the air to right center field, but got under it. And Brandon Marsh is over there to catch it for out number 2. Kyle Schwarber stole a base last night, and so America gets to steal a free taco. Only in the app when you sign up for Taco Bell Rewards. A hero. I'm being told that Joe Carpenter, our award-winning audio guy, has already taken advantage of the promotion and gotten his free taco. He already went Taco Bell today.
Oh, it's not on a particular day?
I think it's just go to the app, It's Taco.
All right.
Alvarez, 2 out. Strike 1.
Well, tonight the offense has been more Astro-like. Only 4 strikeouts. And 9 for the Phillies. So there's that disparity we talked about in the beginning, where they had a 343 advantage of striking out their opponent more than they struck out offensively. And last night was more atypical.
12 Ks last night. The very rare game where the Astros struck out more than their opponent did. That's the deal in the postseason. You got to hit the ball out of the park, but you got to put it in play too. And it's been those combinations that, with the exception of last year's Braves, who are not a great bat-to-ball team, it's been that combination that has led the championships. 1 and 2, along with, of course, plenty of other things. Hot bullpens, a hot individual hitter or two. A lot of times those are under the radar guys that nobody saw coming. Two and 2 on Alvarez. Gotten 3 hits from Altuve tonight. They've gotten a hit and a walk from Alvarez. A couple runs scored. Astros team looking to bounce back from its first loss of the postseason. Nasty pitch there from Brogdon. A changeup to get Alvarez and finish off this 7th. Here in game 2 of the World Series. Houston getting 3 runs in the first, 2 runs in the 5th. And the bullpen trying to lock it down. It's pinch hitter for Edmundo Sosa. Bryson Stott had some impressive at-bats last night. 1 and 2 for the Phillies. Strike 1 from Rafael Montero.
And Dusty's going to make sure. This is a big inning right here. Obviously, with the top of the lineup coming, the thunder for the Phillies. Only down 4.
Montero threw just 5 pitches, getting the last 2 outs last inning, so he stays in there and Flames 1 by him.
I say that only because when you're down 4 with 2 innings to go in the postseason, it's not a good recipe for coming back. Not many teams do, but the Phillies have already shown the ability, although early in the game, to come back and make a game out of an early deficit.
Stays alive just barely. A big part of the identity for these Phillies. Their ability to get off of the deck, keep on punching. Really, this season, into this postseason, bigger picture, and within games, following that same story. They're doing that fighting Phil's moniker proud. Stott leads off the 8th. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's 2 and 2. Bryson Stott was the opening day 3rd baseman for the Phillies, not Alec Bohm. And he went 2 for 4 on opening day, but then went into a long slump and got sent down to AAA. Got another chance when Gene Segura got hurt. Segura comes back from injury, so there's no spot until the Phillies cut Didi Gregorius loose and made him the everyday guy at short. Fouls this one off, and this is what he's done more and more as he's become an everyday player. Long at-bats, fights off tough pitches, and gets one that he can hit.
Almost baits the pitcher into coming off the game plan after about 4 of those foul balls.
Yeah. Hey, last night he averaged 6 pitches a plate appearance. One of them that went 10 against Verlander for earning a walk. On this 2-2 from Montero, he fouls it again. Beyond his years and his ability to stay alive and avoid strikeouts. Another long one here. The 8th pitch coming. Top of the order after Stott, who's pinch hitting for Edmundo Sosa. Schwarber waits for his chance. As Stott waits on a 2-2 and chops it foul. Las Vegas guy. Stayed there for college. UNLV, 1st round draft pick. 2019 from there. On the 9th pitch, Stott grounds it foul again. Over 100 kids took part in a special World Series play ball event at the Houston Astros Youth Academy this morning. Included a giveaway of bat and ball sets and t-shirts. The play ball program introduces diamond sports at its most basic level. A fun and engaging format. Get more information at playball.org. Did it against Verlander last night, does it against Montero here. The 10th pitch coming to Bryson Stott. That's crazy.
It is. He still haven't thrown that fastball over the middle of the plate above. He's fouling the pitch up. And you would think when a guy's fouling the pitch up, you'd want to bring the curveball off of that. But that's what he wants. That's that bat speed. He's got to get the fastball up. Middle belt over the heart of the plate.
Another 2-2. Stott takes ball 3. Montero's thinking, what do I got to do? Get rid of this guy. He said, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Nope. What else he got? A dozen and ball 4. Bryson Stott drawn some awesome walks in this World Series. A walk can be awesome. These have been.
I'm telling you, when you're down 4 and this is what you do to get on base, it's a rally. You're down 4. You just got to walk. Your thunder's coming up. Pass the baton. That's what they've been saying all spring, all postseason.
Speaking of that thunder, here's Kyle Schwarber, who's got a single and a walk tonight. Has seemed to have been seeing the ball pretty well. 5-1 game, 8th inning. Phillies got on the board last inning, taking advantage of a leadoff double from Castellanos, getting a sac fly from Gene Segura. And some Phillies fans in attendance trying to root their team from behind once again. Schwarber takes inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Second time Neris is warned. Visit from Maldonado.
It's a good visit here. He's thrown a lot of pitches. Missed the strike zone. Reset.
Kyle Schwarber started this postseason 0 for 16. He's reached in 9 games since. He's been on base more than half of the time. On a 1-0 pitch from Montero. Schwarber watches ball 2. And hey, by the way, praise to Pat Hoberg in his first World Series game. He, during the regular season, graded out as the 2nd most accurate home plate umpire in baseball behind Jeremy Rahak. He's been pinpoint tonight.
He has. And a lot of close calls to be put on in your first World Series game.
2-0 on Schwarber. A bit dicey here for the Astros. Swing and a miss. Healthy cut, but he came up empty.
You know what he had in his mind.
Oh, yeah. Tank.
And we've seen upper tank, probably the longest home run you'll ever see in a postseason, at least I'll ever see, in San Diego. He was trying to top that right there.
You saying I'm going to see more postseasons than you? Keep watching.
I'm just saying to this point.
Yeah. 488-footer off Yu Darvish. Wow, pitch right there. Fastball to the inside corner at 97, and it's 2-2. straight up. Backing out of play. Kyle Schwarber has 12 home runs in his postseason career. The only guys that have hit home runs at a more rapid clip in postseason history, Nelson Cruz is ahead of him on the list, and so is Babe Ruth. That's it.
The Babe.
The Babe.
When you're on the list with the Babe,
it's a good list. You're a good hitter. Another 2-2 from Montero. Kyle Schwarber turns on one, down the line, towards the pole. It's gone! Babe Schwarber! And it's a 5-3 game as he clubs his 13th in the postseason. Astros fans are saying, Schwarber's rounding the bases. The umpires are now coming together. We will see.
I don't even know if Schwarber thought it was a home run.
I don't think he did. James Hoy, the right field umpire, was out there making the call. And now they say foul ball. If it disappears, it's foul, and it does disappear.
Good angle there, because it's hard to tell for the first inning officer there going, this ball was hit so hard and so fast. You know, the umpire's down the line.
This is a crew chief review. We have overturned the call to a foul ball. It is a crew chief review of a foul ball.
Well done by the umpiring crew. Main thing is that they get it right, and they do. So that is just a long foul ball.
You know, typically in the regular season, the first base umpire, which would make the call.
Yeah.
You got the umpires down the line, but imagine down the line, you got to turn, look, and see. And not as easy as you would think. The further down you are, the harder this angle would be.
Well, the folks to the best view were those emphatic Astros fans we saw right after that saying, no, they got that wrong.
Yeah.
Field is confirmed a foul ball.
And they have officially confirmed that it is foul ball. These guys had it all along. Put us on the payroll, they're saying to the umpiring office. All right, so Schwarber, after striking some fear into the Astros, and Montero settles back in for another 2-2 pitch. For a moment, it looked like it was a two-run game. Runner at first, nobody out. 2-2. Schwarber again hits one in the air. Back to right field. Tucker to the wall. He's got it. Oh, my goodness. The park just large enough to hold it. Kyle Schwarber, two close calls.
And the fans kind enough to not reach over, right? That's a tough spot for the umpires, for the outfield. The fans are right on that row. Man, almost back to back.
Yeah, it's crazy to say you're almost back to back, but to have zero. And Tucker uses that height to haul it in. Reaction back in Philadelphia. One away for Rhys Hoskins. A little bit low for Montero. Dusty Baker continues to let Montero go. Second game in a row for him. 25 pitches in. Got the last two outs of the seventh inning. And facing a third hitter here in the eighth. The 1-0. Hoskins is late.
57 Central cut.
On 1-1, Hoskins takes strike 2. Montero listening to the signs. The speaker in his hat that's getting the signs relayed from that remote control on that shin guard from the Sketcher Maldonado. 1-2 pitch to Rhys Hoskins. Got him. Just nasty stuff from Rafael Montero. Well, $250,000 has already been donated to the Jackie Robinson Foundation through the Capital One walk-off program. For every walk-off during the World Series, Capital One will donate an additional $75,000 to the foundation. It's on to the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking Major League Baseball's color barrier. 2 out in the 8th, Real Muto. After the 3 RBI performance in Game 1, he's 0 for 3 with a couple Ks tonight. First pitch from Montero. Grounds one up the middle. Pena's there. Shovels it off to nobody. And headed for third is Bryson Stott. Well, Altuve thought that Pena was going to first. Pena thought Altuve was going to second. And instead, the door is cracked open here for Bryce Harper.
Yeah, it really was the only play for Pena. He was moving so far. Watch. But the only chance he thought he had was a toss to second. He would have had to turn and throw to first base, and a guy who can run. He looked up the toss, and there was nobody to toss it to. Well, all right, Mr. Harper.
Yeah, and the big moments in this postseason continue to find his plate. Dusty Baker sticks with Rafael Montero. Maris has been ready to go for a bit down there. First and third, 2 gone. Harper takes way inside. 0 for 3 today.
Well, with every moment that we've watched the Phillies in the postseason, any break they've gotten, they take advantage of it. Last night, almost a surefire double play if Verlander catches that ball. Doesn't. They score a couple runs after that. Tough play right there, but you just sense that Philly comes up with big hits when they need them.
Harper takes ball 2. Harper at 0 for 3, trying to extend an 11-game postseason hitting streak. Well above 400 this postseason. Bigger the game, bigger the moment, the better he's been. On this 2-0 from Montero, Harper swings and misses. Power against power, strike 1.
I mean, that is, you're right about that. I mean, that is the top of the zone and the big swing that we've seen many times early in the count, right? And then he goes to work. Barrel just underneath the ball. High velocity.
Sounds fast.
And now season high.
Harper cracks his bat. Short right field. Out goes Altuve. On comes Tucker and Pena. Bermuda's triangle closes, and the shortstop Pena comes over to catch it. So many close calls in this inning, really, for both sides. This is how the inning ends, and it stays 5-1 Houston. These guys had it all along, didn't they? They knew that it was foul. They thought it was a homer. From elation to dejection. 5-1 in game 2. Alex Bregman leads off this 8th inning. Fresh off his 3rd home run of the postseason back in the 5th. 5-1 Astros. Brad Hand on to pitch for the Phillies, and the lefty's in there with strike 1. Hand pitched in a few games in the division series, didn't give anything up, but then struggled in the championship series, giving up 3 runs in just 1 inning.
Yeah, and he needs to get a good outing under his belt because he's going to be important for some left-handers if Rob Thompson sees what his breaking ball, late breaking ball. 0-2. Felt like he went to it too many times and he got burned with it. Good enough fastball, and more sliders you show a hitter, the better chance he gets for him to get a hit.
As you saw, Stott after pinch hitting stays in and plays short. Hand to Bregman with an 0-2 pitch.
Now, the one thing that, we haven't talked about much because there's so many relievers that are going to pitch in this series is in a game like this, even though it's still close, sometimes you as a reliever can kind of use this moment to, I'm not talking about particularly right now Brad Hand's going to face Bregman too many more times, but if you have an opportunity to face multiple guys, you can pitch backwards in a game with breathing room. And I remember this park specifically because as a closer I came into a game that pretty much had the lead that we should have won, and I challenged Vinny Castilla, dead fastball hitter, knowing that I'd face him again and probably throw all sliders. He hit it over the train tracks for a homer. And then the next time threw him 3 sliders in a row.
Wow.
So, I mean, as you know, we talk about pitchers, starting pitchers setting up hitters. You don't talk about it too many times with closers or relievers, but in a series, when you're going to face them multiple times, there are opportunities that you're going to face that guy again. You put that in your memory bank on how you want to face them one time and maybe do something different in a tight game or crucial moment later in the series.
That low leverage spot set him up a little bit. Strikeout of Bregman for the first out of the 8th. Well, if Big Papi's money isn't enough, you've got a chance to win $100 grand of Terry Bradshaw's money on Fox Bet Super 6. Get the free Super 6 app on your phone now and enter your 6 picks in the NFL Sunday Challenge Contest. Get your picks in before tomorrow.
Because on the flip side now, we saw how many pitches, career high amount of pitches in 1 inning by Montero. So now, as the series moves forward, these Astro hitters have seen a lot of pitches out of Montero, and so you would think that they have an advantage the next time he comes in the game when you see that many pitches and that many at-bats.
1 gone in the 8th. Kyle Tucker takes the ball from Hand. The series about to shift to Philadelphia for 3 games, starting on Monday. Halloween in Philly, I would think, is fun no matter what. World Series game in Philly is fun no matter what. You put them together. Oh boy. You ready to party, John?
Oh yeah.
Let's go. Let's go party in Philly. Bouncing ball to first for Hoskins. He'll take it to the bag. And Tucker's out number 2. For every home run hit this postseason, T-Mobile's donating $5 grand to Team Rubicon's hurricane recovery efforts. And when you text relief to 595959, T-Mobile will donate another $5. So far this postseason, there have been 84 home runs hit. That adds up to $420 grand in donations for hurricane relief. With 2 gone in the 8th inning, Yuli Gurriel. And for the Phillies in the 9th inning, Castellanos, Bowman, Segura coming up. You saw Ryan Presley warming. Dusty Baker not going to take any chances. Set to go to his closer with a 4-run lead.
And the travel day tomorrow.
Bonus strike. What are you dressing up as Monday?
In the booth?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
probably caddy.
Nice.
Caddy attire.
Okay. Well, how about during the day? Yes, in the booth. Or...
PGA golfer.
Okay. 1 and 2. That's your costume most days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got some King Tuck fans. Kyle Tucker. Some great costumes out early. 1-2 to Yuli Gurriel is golf to left. Kyle Schwarber's there. And this game goes to the 9th inning. The Astros with a 5-1 lead. Ryan Presley, it appears, to come on for Castellanos, Bowman, Segura. The Astros closer on to try and shut this thing down. 5-1, Houston in front to the 9th inning. And it's Nick Castellanos to lead off. Strike one.
Well, this is one of those situations that I think Ryan Presley will be on the attack. You don't ever assume anything. A 4-run game in the 9th, and he's been there, done that. So you see what he's done in the postseason. And I would think he'd be on the attack here until runners get on.
At a 1-2-3 9th inning last night. Helped get that game into extra innings through 15 pitches in doing so. Mauricio Dubon into the game in center field, and Chas McCormick moves over to left. Upgrade the defense a little bit. Diaz comes out. After Castellanos, Bowman, Segura here in the 9th. Got the call. 1 and 2. Presley fires and is in the dirt. 2 and 2.
That's the other thing that's unique about the Phillies. When you're attacking them as a right-handed pitcher, these are two tall back-to-back right-handed hitters with strike zones that you would think, okay, if I can get them and expose them, you don't see two basically 6'5" guys in a row, other than Stanton and Judge.
Right. 2-2. Fouls it back. He was saying to Alec Bohm, it's straight.
He was saying what?
It's straight. Read his lips, turned around and said it's straight. The Bohm on deck. Huh. You know, it wasn't a fastball. It's normally where you hear somebody say that. Two and 2 on Castellanos, leading off the 9th. Presley deals, and Castellanos is down swinging on anything that was butt straight. That was a changeup to finish him off. 1 gone in the 9th.
It's become a bigger weapon for Presley. Everything cuts, spins, and all of a sudden, change of speed gets the hitter.
Oh, 1 gone in the 9th.
He must have game 6 tickets.
Yeah, right. Gonna get me back here. Bohm walked his first time. 0 for 2 since then. Now, 9th inning comebacks in the World Series have been few and far between. We're talking about Presley coming in, even though it's not a safe situation. Part of the reason they don't see comebacks is because it's going to take a massive lead for you to go to your bottom of the barrel guys in the bullpen. But the largest comeback in the 9th inning in World Series history is from down 3. And that happened twice. But both those teams eventually lost in extras. So the largest 9th inning deficit overcome in World Series history to win a game is only 2. Last happened in Game 5 in 2015. Kansas City erased a 2-0 deficit against Matt Harvey, who's still in the game in the 9th. Terry Collins famously sent him back out there. And then clinched with 5 in the 12th that night. Breaking pitch is lofted to left center field. McCormick's not going to get there. Off the wall. Bohm on his way to second. Dubon's throw not in time, and a double for Alec Bohm.
Well, that was a great play to even make it look that close.
Bohm saying the same thing.
A hanger, and he catches it in the big part of the ballpark. But watch the carom and how quickly this throw is to second base. And a lot closer than Alec thought he would be.
Mauricio Dubon is the guy who started his career as an infielder. Didn't start playing the outfield until 2 years ago in San Francisco. And fielded that ground ball off of the wall. Strike one on Gene Segura. Tries to lay off, checked first, no swing, 1-1. You know, the Astros only out hitting the Phillies by 1 hit in this game. But they had that flurry in the first inning, 3 doubles on the first 4 pitches that Zach Wheeler threw, and then the big swing from Alex Bregman, 2-run shot in the 5th. You know, the Phillies have gotten a bunch of base runners. They've gone just 2 for 15 with men aboard. Segura fouls it off, 1-2.
Well, with the pitching we're going to see in the series, and that's why I think it's going to be one of the 6 to 7 game series instead of the shorter version. It's hard to score multiple innings, so you got to make the most of your inning, and so far each team's kind of done that. We've seen 2 3 spots, 2 2 spots, and 2 single runs.
1-2 pitch. Segura knocked in the Phillies' run tonight with a sac fly in the 7th. Brandon Marsh on deck for what will be his first at-bat of the night. Two-two. In the air to right center. Playable for Kyle Tucker. Phillies down to their last out in game 2. Framber Valdez tonight. Nothing against him through 6+. Well, the run that scored his responsibility, but an outstanding outing when they really needed him to avoid falling into a 2-0 hole. And Framber Valdez has the Astros on the verge of tying this series up. Last hope for the Phillies, Brandon Marsh. It's going to be the same thing that the Phillies have had now all 3 series. Win the first one, lose the second one, go back to their home crowd. Where, by the way, they are unbeaten and have averaged 7 runs per game in this postseason.
I'm going to tell you something. They sweep the board again. It'll be the most incredible postseason home field advantage I think I've ever seen.
It'll be hard to argue it.
You know, the other series haven't happened like that, but it's been shorter. It's been 2 series.
On the ground to first, and it gets by Gurriel. Bowman to score, Marsh to second. It's 5-2, and it's not done yet. Won't give the Phillies a crack. Really, either of these teams, you can't give them anything.
No.
They've been so good at taking advantage.
You know, it didn't seem like much in the first inning, but I thought that error that allowed the 3rd run psychologically impacted the Houston Astros a little bit more than you would think, because they had gotten the 2 quick runs right away, and then they were out of the inning, and then all of a sudden that 3rd run, innocent as it might be in the first inning, was a big run, and now that run has just been kind of given back here with play that Gurriel usually makes.
Well, man, if there's the psychological toll throughout the game, how about the tangible toll where if that doesn't happen, Phillies have the tying run at the plate now.
Yeah.
It's 5-2. If Stott can reach, Schwarber would come up representing the tying run. And this man has been one tough out so far this postseason. Ryan Presley to Bryson Stott. A curve for a strike. It was, by the way, an error on Gurriel. Second of the game tonight for the Astros. On 0-1, Stott grounds one to second for Altuve. He's got it, and the Astros have a win in Game 2. The World Series is tied 1-1 as it heads back to Philadelphia. Framber Valdez, 6 1/3 tonight. The longest start in a World Series game since 2019. Zach Greinke.
Well, buckle your seats. It's going to get raucous, loud, crazy in Philadelphia, and this is going to be a really, really good World Series. Two teams that can kind of answer counterpunch as we talked about. That's one of the biggest spreads